Oh, Sunshine Do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? Got a nice day in the Ozarks. Our weather's been getting more fall-like, but today it warmed up a little bit, so I thought I'd sneak out to my bar area, my little corner of the garage, my little sanctuary on the world, Sláinte. So I thought I'd pop this one with you. Because like I said, we're kind of in between weather, right? It's not real cold, it's not real hot, so I'm kind of in between styles. But anyway, here's what I picked up from Masthead Brewing out of Cleveland. Out of Cleveland. For some reason, I was thinking Cincinnati. They're out of Cleveland. 6.9% single origin coffee stout espresso, which is kind of why I picked it up being a single origin. When I try to buy coffee beans, I try to buy fair trade and or single origin as well. We partnered with our friends at Six Shooter Coffee to bring you this mashup of our two favorite beverages. This variant features Brazilian Cerrado coffee beans, roasted dark to bring out notes of sweet toffee, dark caramel, and robust cocoa that pair beautifully with the roasty notes from the stout. This one is at 6.9%, I believe. I know it's on here somewhere. 6.9, yes, 30 IBUs. Let me show you the back of that can so you see those things. And I'll show you the front there. I'll mount that nicely. Let's put it right there so you can see it. And look how beautiful that beer is. Damn, tell me that ain't pretty. Oh, man. Coffee stouts. You know, the odd thing is I'm 59 years old and I didn't become a coffee drinker till I was in my 50s. It was right about 50 when that switch, that switch flipped. I said, I don't mind this stuff anymore. As a kid, even as a young adult growing up, I always wanted that Coke in the morning. I just never really got into drinking coffee. Now I've gotten older, I have. But the thing is, much like craft beer or whiskey, I don't like cheap stuff. I'm not necessarily where I can buy high-end stuff either, don't get me wrong. But I've got a nice grinder at home. I like to buy the best beans that I can afford and grind them myself. I'm not buying cheap, already ground in a bag coffee or a canister. I like good stuff no matter what I'm drinking or what I'm eating for that matter. But I am a relatively poor guy and I'm on a budget, so I try to be smart about it. But there is a difference from cheap diner coffee to good grind your own beans at home coffee, the flavor is different. It'd be like people saying they don't like beer, but all they've had is various macros, The only thing they've ever had is PBR. From that experience, I don't like beer. And that's how a lot of coffee or non-coffee drinkers are. For me, it was, I don't like the stuff my parents are drinking, so I don't like coffee. Until I started having better coffee and said, oh, okay, I get it. But I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to buy beans. I'm going to grind them at home. I'm not going to pay $7 or, for this shit at Starbucks or wherever. And to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Starbucks. A lot of the stuff just tastes bitter to me, so my tastes are a little bit different. But I like to buy good beans at home, grind them, and make good coffee. Oh my Lord, that's delicious. Yeah, that's good, man. Wow. There is something spectacular about a well-done coffee stout, though, because a good stout will give you those big flavors anyway. Those roasted malt could impart notes of coffee, chocolate, etc. You add actual coffee to it, then you have a whole other animal going on. Oh. I didn't get up to Cleveland. We weren't that far, about 2.5 hours south of Cleveland in Columbus. But it was a long drive to get there. There wasn't one day that we wanted to say, hey, let's take a long drive. Because there are so many things to see in the Columbus area. We didn't even get to all of that stuff. But that might be another reason to get out to that neck of the woods. I would like to see some of that area, not necessarily Cleveland per se, but the Toledo area. I will never go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it is a joke. It is not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a random music Hall of Fame, but there is nothing rock and roll about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is missing too many important artists, and it has recognize so many artists that don't belong in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There might be artists in there that belong in a Hall of Fame of some sorts, but they're not rock and roll artists and they don't belong there. Well, they've intentionally left out a lot of rock and roll artists that belong there. So I will not go ever. Cleveland can kiss my ass. I ain't going. But there are other things in Cleveland I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't want to discount the whole city because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame pissed me off. I just wish they would have been smart, right? I wish they would have approached the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like many sports Hall of Fames. Now, there are a lot of sports Hall of Fames, in my opinion, that have left out important figures as well. However, but at least they approached it from decade to decade. And in my opinion, that's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame went wrong. They should have started at very specific decades and worked their way up, rather than just randomly put people in all willy-nilly. That just doesn't seem to make any sense. There are a lot of influential and historic artists that aren't there that really should be. The one that really leaps out to me is Link Wray. Link Wray, a Native American who some might say, well, it wasn't mainstream enough, but he was very influential. Rumble was an anthem of its time. For that alone, he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. However, there is more that he's done. Again, he just influenced so many other artists. But there's Jack the Ripper. I mean, there's other tunes, but just the influence he had on music and culture of the time should have automatically put him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The fact that he is not there just shows how ridiculous the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. That they've intentionally left out very influential artists in favor of pop stars who sold a lot of albums. And I'm not necessarily denigrating pop stars that sold a lot of albums. I'm just saying they don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they're not rock and roll artists. It doesn't seem that difficult to me, but nevertheless, this is where we are. I got off on a tear there, and I apologize to the folks at Masthead, but I read Cleveland, and that just took me in that direction. Masthead Brewing. However, I would love to go to Cleveland just to go to this brewery, because this is the second beer I've had from them, and I am very impressed. So I apologize to Masthead for going on my little tangent there. But I can't help it sometimes. Masthead Brewing out of Cleveland. Yeah, this brewery alone makes me want to go to Cleveland. This beer is incredible. It is one of the best coffee stouts I've ever had in my life. Single origin coffee stout espresso, 6.9%, 30 IBUs. It is wow good. It really is. And I'm not kidding about that. That it really is one of the very best coffee stouts I've ever had in my life. It is rather amazing. Oh, gorgeous. Anyways, I digress. One more time. Masthead Brewing, Cleveland, single origin coffee stout. This beer is gorgeous. I hope someday to get you a brewery. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte.